Hey everyone, welcome. This is vlog 12 of 40 from my 40 vlog series that I'm doing during the period of Lent this year. Well, I did it last year as well. Of course, I have Apollo here. I have been on and off sitting here because I had to run back to the dye pots, and we had lunch and we had coffee, so there were many breaks in recording my vlog today. But every time I sat down here, Apollo just came running and wanted to spend time with me and get his cuddles. Ja, je bent heel lief ben je. At the beginning of this vlog series, there was a question from one of the Belgian knitters, Martine. She asked, can you give some ideas of what you can do with leftovers and mini skeins? I think that we all know many projects that are suitable for leftovers or minis. But I tried to put a list together of mini and scrappy projects that are out of the ordinary, I hope. First, we have a category hats. And the first hat I'm going to show you is the Scrappy Cappy. This is a hat that is very graphic and uses very little yarn of each color, and you can combine and add on to your liking. And I really liked this hat. I had not seen it before, so I hope it's a new one for you as well. The next is the Full of Minis hat by Barbara Nalewko. By the way, I will link all the projects below because I don't know all the designer names by heart. And if there's something to your liking, you can just find the right project and click the link so that it will bring you to Ravelry. The Full of Minis hat. I've knitted this one years ago, and I think I had an advent that year that had a mini one day and spin fluff the next day. So you need to add in 24 minis, but I only had 12. So what I did was I had one mini for the advent, and I found another mini from my own stash that matched the mini that I found in the advent. And for the rest, I just let it take its course. The Full of Minis hat is really has a great result, but I'm not going to lie, making all those riches every day is kind of a task. I managed to keep up and do one rich per day, but at some days it was the only knitting that I got done. The result was amazing and super warm and comfy, and I was crazy enough to sell it. I sold it years ago, and I don't have it anymore, and that's a pity. The Scrappy Cap is a pattern that is, different from all other patterns, I think. You crochet these wedges, which will form a hat in the round, and then you add a ribbing. It's Tunisian crochet, and it says mix and match colors as you want from the remnants you have available. Each wedge of color can be made with 50 grams or less. The next is a scrappy little hat, and that features a bigger amount of yarn, but it combines with all the scraps that you have. And it's not particularly something I want to make, but I thought it was kind of nice because it's a little different than the usual things we see. And of course you can fade or scrappy each pattern that you would want to knit or crochet, right? You can make socks from scrappies, you can make shawls, sweaters, hats, mittens, whatever. But I try to come up with a list that might show some new projects that you have not seen before. The colorful party hat is a crochet hat, and that's really something you can add on as much as you like and make it as crazy as you want to. It's crochet, so that's nice to have in this list as well. The scrappy cap was also crochet, of course. Then we have the category blankets, and there are, of course, the usual suspects: the northeasterly, the anthology throw, the coziest memories, the sweet shop blanket. There are many, many possibilities, but the ones that I picked for this list is the scrappy corner to corner, the crochet version, and that is a blanket. You can pick all the scraps that you have, all the colors that you want to use. So if you want to go for a certain color scheme, you can pick your yarns, weigh them, and then you start crocheting the blanket from the corner. Ja, ga maar even zitten hier. Ga maar zitten. Nee? Zit. Goed zo. It's just a dog sometimes. You crochet from the corner and make it wider and wider and wider, and then shortly before you have used half of your yarn, I would not go to the exact half, then you make it narrower and narrower and narrower until you are at the other end. So that is a square blanket that is knitted or crocheted in a diagonal. There are many options, also in knitting, and it's a great stash buster. Then we have the triangulum blanket by Ellie Craft House Magic. Ellie Jones, I think. Well, it's linked below, but her podcast, her vlog is Craft House Magic. The triangulum blanket, if you go to Ravelry and you browse through the projects, you will be amazed by the color plans some people made. I already bought the pattern a few months ago, but I did not start it yet. But I really, really would like to make this blanket. Nou eens even. And then he lies down on my notes again. One would think that he never gets any attention. He's so sweet. Okay, so the triangulum blanket. The scrappy dagshond is a crochet pattern, and as you can see, you can put all the colors in that you like and make it as big as possible. It's not immediately something I would make, but it is different than most of the patterns, I think. So hence I wanted to show it here. The beekeeper's quilt is one that I have on my list for this year. I don't want to make a very big one. You make all these hexagons and you fill them with a little bit of wool or scrappies or fiberfill, and then you put them together at the corners. And I want to make one that fits over my desk chair seat, because the chair has known better times, but I don't want to buy another. The chair works perfectly. The fabric is just not as pretty anymore. So the beekeeper's quilt is on my list to make this year. And then we have the Domino Stash Buster Afghan. That is a pattern by Anita Grain. I have had it for years and years, and I started it, but somehow it ends up in hibernation every time. But I do want to finish it. And then I'm probably going to gift it, because the colors I'm using are all Bart and Francis Merino in the very happy colors. So it will be beautiful. It's just, those are not my colors. So, but we will see. I do want to finish it. As far as clothing goes, like I said, you can fade or scrappy each project that you want, but a special one that I came across is the Scrappy Knit Duster. Whether you like it, that's something else, but you don't have to weave in ends, as you can see. I will name my parachute and my pentapillar pullover in one go. I just finished the parachute last month, and I am about to finish my pentapillar pullover, so you have seen it coming by many times. But they are excellent projects for scrappies or minis. My pentapillar pullover is made entirely out of minis from my advent. Then we have the End Times by Amy Gunderson. Oh, the Scrappy Cappy, the first pattern I showed you, is also a pattern by Amy Gunderson. And this is just a cute little cardigan in which you can feature many, many minis. You can go for a certain color theme, or just put together whatever you grab out of your basket. The Heartstring by Joji Locatelli is not a scrappy project to begin with. If you want to follow the pattern, you do need a sweater quantity of yarn, but it makes it suitable for this list because it uses Japanese sashiko embroidery, and that is very suitable to use your scrappies or that favorite leftover yarn from your favorite brand, or to match with something else in your wardrobe. And I thought it was a really nice way to use a mini or a leftover. And then we have the Scrappy String Symphony Top. This is a crochet pattern, and the way it is constructed is that you crochet kind of a mesh fabric, and then you crochet strings of single crochet which you weave in. So you can go wild with how you put this one together. And it is crochet, so that's nice for this list. I would not want to make the impression that I'm only vlogging for knitters. Then in the category shawls and wraps and cowls. Of course there is the Sophie scarf. I don't know if there are people that have never heard of the Sophie scarf, but it's a pattern by Petite Knit and it is immensely popular. I knitted one last year and when it was finished I put it on and it looked awful. I have too round of a face, too short of a neck. It is just not something that is flattering for me. But it's an immensely popular pattern. I can't imagine that there are people left that never heard of the Sophie scarf, but who knows. And I think you need like 30 grams or something. So if you have a leftover, a Sophie scarf is a quick and easy knit. And of course you can add more colors to it. And you can do just add colors in, but you can also make a fade in which you put all your colors in order of depth of shade and then do it like that. And then you can just go from one color to the other, but you can also, for example, do 6 rows in color A, then 6 rows alternating color A and color B, 6 rows in color B, 6 rows alternating B and C, like that. Then we have the Scrappy mandala scarf, and that is a crochet pattern, and that uses one main color and as many colors to go with that. It is, you end up with a reversible pattern and it looks kind of fun. So I hope this is a new one for you too. Then there is the Patchwork Crescent. And that is a pattern by Kieran Foley, a very talented knitwear designer. There was a knit-along a few years ago among friends, and many of the people I know were going to do this one. But I was working on another Kieran Foley project by then. Back then, so I did not knit this one, but if you go to the pattern page on Ravelry and check out the different projects, there are some awesome ones there. And then in the cowl section, we also have my Happy Thoughts cowl and my Fantsticol, and those are designed for a 12 skein advent calendar. Accessories, you could look at scrappy scrunchies, you know, the hairbands that have fabric around, and in this case knit or crochet fabric around. You can make many of those. Socks, for example, like I just told you, you could just switch colors or make it a fade, or for example, like I'm doing in my scrappy socks I'm knitting at the moment, if I change color, I do 1 round of knit 5 slip 1, which gives all these V's and makes it a bit playful. The best headband is also suitable for leftovers. I think it takes around 27 grams to knit one. And if you have knitted socks and you have a leftover and you wear boots, then boot cuffs would be a really nice tiny project to make. Boot cuffs are very short leg warmers that you let peekaboo above your boots. And why would one do that? Well, leg warmers might be too much fabric to wear in your boots. And if you have socks that you really like, this would be a really nice way to use your leftover. The same goes for wrist warmers. A wrist warmer is a piece of knitted or crocheted fabric that you can fit around your wrist as a sleeve, but it doesn't have any holes for the thumb or fingers or whatever. It's just a wrist warmer. And like the boot cuffs that peekaboo above your boots, this can just give a nice detail if you are wearing a long sleeve shirt, and then this shows at the end of your sleeve. I have picked the Lazy Life wrist warmers. That is what you see in the picture and what is linked in the show notes. And then we have a no category. It's just to bring ideas. And you could think of amigurumis, knitted or crocheted, and for example the gnomes from the Knit Along by Imagined Landscapes. A mug cozy, that's like a leg warmer or a wrist warmer for your mug. Coasters are ideal to use leftovers. Face scrubs, they're available in many shapes and many forms, and well, the possibilities are endless. And then you don't have to use the non-reusable cotton ones, for example. Potholders, dishcloths. One I particularly liked is the swatch bag. If you are a swatcher, and if you are keeping your swatches, if you don't run out of yarn, etc., you could put them together, put a lining in, and then you have a cute project bag. You can make shampoo bar pouches or lavender pouches, for example. My sister and I are running a Christmas ornament make-along, ideal to get rid of some of your leftovers. And produce bags, those are also very handy to make from scraps and leftovers. I hope you found some new inspiration in this list. If you have a certain scrappy or mini pattern that is absolutely not to miss, please put it in the comments. I'm very curious to know. Tomorrow I will show some knitting and some crocheting, but for now I would say happy crafting, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!